Welcome to this fantastic panel we're on today. My name is Keith Menon. I'm a founder of Menon Hospitality, and I'm building one of the most exciting hospitality projects in Miami called Nativo, which is in downtown Miami, right where Kevin's from. And I'm excited to be here today. I love to introduce everyone with us today. We have Andrew, who is the area manager of Expedia. Andrew is very passionate about Miami, and he manages our area, Fort Lauderdale, and the Caribbean. So he's had a pretty fun job this last few months. We're excited to hear from him. We have Wendy, who is passionate about the hospitality industry, and she's joining us. We have Jennifer from the GMCVB, who is with us today to discuss what they're doing. And we have Kevin, who's from the DDA, which is the Downtown Business Development Authority, with us as well. So welcome, everybody. We're happy to have you guys. And let's start. So Andrew, you have an exciting job. You're from a fantastic company called Expedia, which is really one of the most leading travel platforms that we're in. Knowing that we're all in a great city known as Miami, Miami Beach, where we have over 20 million tourists that come to us a year, the most exciting destination. Tell us about kind of your experience in the last 3-4 months of this pandemic and your travel partners and how you guys have been able to manage this and help and assist to your best knowledge.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the introduction, Keith. And just to be clear, also cover Miami as well, just in case folks are asking, why is this guy from Fort Lauderdale and the Caribbean talking to us about downtown Miami and Miami, right? So, yeah, the way we see it is we're in the same storm, but in different boats. There's really no one size fits all option for recovery. Every partner and their needs are different. So it's really all about working closely with our Miami lodging partners and the CVBs, et cetera, to formulate tailored strategies and action plans, and then executing diligently on these. We have a dedicated local market management team made up of some of the brightest and most creative folks in the industry now, right? And every day, they're in constant contact with our lodging partners, building and executing customized strategies, gauging the results of these strategies, and then optimizing together as we all go along. All this to ensure that we bring more travelers to downtown and Miami than we did the day before. So really having that growth mindset. About a month ago, we also launched a recovery program to help support Miami at an industry level, destination level, and also at the partnership level. So if you're an existing partner who hasn't spoken to your market manager in a while, please change that today, not tomorrow. But as soon as you get off this call, we're excited to hear from you. And if you are a property but don't currently work with us, we're also here for you too. So visit joinexpedia.com to see how you can become a part of our global marketplace. Thank you, Keith.
I think that's great. Let me tell you, Andrew, Expedia is a fantastic company. They're partners of ours for many, many years. As you guys know, my company, Menon Hospitality, manages a lot of hotels in South Florida. We're soon to have one in Fort Lauderdale. So we're all inside your wheelbox. Jennifer, any comments on what Andrew said? Because you are definitely in the trenches, and I'm sure your phone is going crazy. And what do you think? How have you been dealing with this market climate?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for the introduction. Andrew mentioned partnerships, and that is really very much at the heart of what we're doing at the CVB. And we have our own tourism recovery program called Miami Shines. Some of you may have heard it, not so subtly over my shoulder here. But Miami Shines is a program that really twofold, actually. It's at one level, it is a promotional program. And by the way, you can see all the details by visiting miamishines.com. But it is promotional in nature. And then in addition to that, we also have a softer message, one about resilience. In times like this, we are seeing some of the best from people. And we are shining a light on our community and those folks who are going above and beyond their day-to-day to help the community. So you can see a whole library of videos of folks in Miami who are shining bright. In addition to the promotional program, we just launched in partnership with our hotels, a work remote and learn remote program, all under Miami Shines. So we know that folks out there are working remote, we all are, And our hotels are smart and have put together these great packages that essentially are encouraging folks to check in for a day, these day passes, you know, have a Zoom meeting by the pool, have a massage between, you know, meetings, whatever it may be. Our partners are becoming very, very creative with these packages. So we have packaged it all up and we've put it together under the Miami Shines platform. So that's just one example of the promotional offers that we're putting together now. And we're very nimble. We are responding really at lightning speed based on the market conditions, because as we all know, things are changing so quickly.
Absolutely. I got to tell you, I'm actually well aware of your project, and I thank you guys for doing it, and I think you guys are doing phenomenal. Kevin, downtown, an exciting area. It's actually where my family and I are actually building Nativo, which is right up your alley. It's the most exciting project I've ever built before. It's going to be a kind of a mixed-use hospitality 2.0 project with retail, hotel, a private membership club, residents. And I got to tell you, I think, you know, you're really downtown in the nitty gritty of this. What are you feeling, and what do you think about the environment?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on this panel. I had a really good time with the one in July, which we talked about the residential portion and a little bit about the restaurants. This one's more hospitality focused. But just to touch on some things that our agency has been doing, since that was the common theme in the first two questions. We had something called the FIU Hospitality Relief Program, which we did in conjunction with the South Beach Food and Wine Festival. So the first fund back in April and May, so really fast moving when all this started, $1.5 million was raised. And of that, we were able to get $190,000 into the pockets of restaurants, 78 within the DDA. So that's fantastic. Even better, it was so successful that when the CARES Act money came in, $5 million of that was dedicated on the county level to a second iteration of that program. And what's great about this one is, unlike the previous one, which is all of South Florida, this is only Miami-Dade, and everyone that applied the first time can apply again. So really, really excited about that. Our other flagship program that we did was called the Restaurant Recovery Program, which we did in combination with the city of Miami. The layman's term is the Outdoor Cafe Temporary Permit Program, where essentially when the order came down, by the way, great timing, because restaurants are able to open up again today. But you know, when the order came down that indoor dining was closed, we realized, hey, this isn't going to work unless they get some help, and help fast. So we worked with the city, whereby restaurants could apply for temporary permits for free. And in exchange, they were able to put tables and chairs out onto the sidewalk and even into some of the parking spaces. Realizing that money was tight, the DDA stepped up, and we purchased and/or leased umbrellas, tables, chairs, barriers to protect pedestrians from traffic. And then we also launched a couple other direct monetary programs, such as the Small Business Micro Grant Program and the Emergency Storefront Grant Program, which were $80,000 and $50,000 respectively. So that's what we've done directly. But to Jennifer's point about working with the community, any of our partners that had anything that would benefit our businesses, whether they be restaurants or retail, we push heavy. Something we are really proud of here is we have roughly 375 restaurants in our district and over 800 retailers, and we have an intimate relationship with all of them. So anything we can do to kind of spread the word, please let us know, and we'll continue to do so. So that's the first part. Second part about what's going on in downtown is a ton. So one of my favorite facts is that downtown now has more 4- or 5-star hotels than any other submarket in the state of Florida. Our population growth is booming as well. We went from roughly 68,000 full-time to a projected 100 to 110,000, which will be confirmed with the 2020 census, which is currently ongoing. 900 people a day are moving to the state of Florida. Roughly 40% is South Florida. Our business concentration is increasing. We have 3 tech unicorns in Insight Tech, Kaseya, and Reef. Transportation, we have the best mass transportation system in the state of Florida. We have Metro Rail, Metro Mover, Brightline, Tri-Rail, which the DDA actually put money towards and hopefully opens up in 2021. Baywalk, which is a 5-mile linear walk on the water, and the Underline, which is the hot source, a topic that is projected to open up in October. It's a 10-mile, 120-acre linear park underneath the Metro Rail. And what's cool about that is, unlike in Atlanta and the Beltline or New York City with the High Line, this is actually still a mode of transportation. It's not a defunct railway. It's actually underneath. So if you get tired or if you get hot or whatever, you can just mosey right on up to one of the stations and continue that home. So lots of going on. I won't take up too many of your time, but if you have any specific questions, happy to answer them.
Kevin, you said it great. And this morning I was actually at an TiVo sales center with our sales team having a meeting, and just looking around downtown Miami and the city that you're describing, it is phenomenal. And the different buildings are beautiful. The infrastructure is all coming in place. So me personally, I'm very, very excited to have a new project in your district. And I thank you guys for all you guys are doing. I think it's just great. Really, really great. So Wendy, who is our favorite Miami passionate person, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks so much, Keith. This is wonderful, and thanks to Expedia, for putting this on, and to my partners included with me. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good. I have to tell you, it's been hard, as you know. I mean, I think hospitality and tourism industry was the hardest hit of any industry. Shut down all our hotels. The employees had a really tough time collecting unemployment in the beginning. But, with all of these efforts and also just how we're moving forward to help get the hotels open and operating in the way that they should be operating is very exciting for us right now. And I just wanted to share with you that we were also involved in the Sobe Wine and Food Festival the second series, which was great because we were able to push to include our hotel restaurants that were in. And so the hotel restaurants are included in that fund, which really was a great help, as well as a very special program I want to talk to you about. Commissioner Higgins put together a fund for $3 million at the county level and was able to get the money approved from the county, the CARES Act fund, and the $3 million. This is so cool because this is something, Keith, that can keep on going. It can keep evolving, and we can keep getting contributions for it. But this is for 2,500 hotel employees, right? $1,000 a pop. So it was a stipend. So we worked with the college, Miami-Dade College, to create not only a stipend program, but a 2-day virtual workshop that they take about resume writing, career building, all the different resources that the college has for these employees, because we're not really sure we're going to be able to bring them all back to the hotels to work, but definitely want to help them further their careers and help their families. So we're almost, it launched 10 days ago, right? And I think I haven't gotten the report today, but probably by the end of this week, it will be all 2,500 will be enrolled in the program. The beauty of this program is we can continue to get funding for it. So the cost of this is $1,200 per employee, $1,000 for the stipend and $200 for the educational piece. So maybe help me out, Keith. We'll get some money to continue funding this. So very excited about that. And
Wendy, I think it's phenomenal.
I think the worst is over. I think that we're really, just us being together today to talk about all of the different amazing initiatives and the growth. There's a lot of growth in the hotel industry, a lot of renovations, a lot of restorations, a lot of projects. So we really, and Miami's going to bounce back quicker than anyone else.
Wendy, I think you're doing a great thing and we all appreciate it. Let me tell you, with partners like Expedia for all of us and what Andrew does, we know that we can drive the business of this city and everyone loves being here. So we're in really an incredible place. Wendy, since you're really in the hotel environment, and I see it every day because it's my business as well, what are a lot of these hotels doing to make COVID safe accommodation for the future? Are there any changes that you're hearing or, things that, because you're really on the inside, that our listeners can all hear about today?
So Keith, I think that that we actually worked with Mayor Jimenez on the hotel task force from the very beginning. And there were several of our hotels on this committee. So we were able to work with the county mayor on the guidelines. So look, we have all the brands, Marriott, Hyatt, Hilton, SBE, all these great brands were involved with their own corporate offices on guidelines. So we were able to really put the guidelines together based on the hotel perspective, which I think was very, very helpful. And then what we did was we partnered with Miami-Dade College again to provide a COVID-19 training certification of completion for the employees. So it was a train the trainer. So the hotel had 1 or 2 representatives from the hotel to participate in the virtual training program, where they reviewed all of the guidelines as well as the ongoing changing guidelines to make sure, you know, that social distancing, wearing masks, disinfecting, electrostatic. I never heard of the word electrostatic until COVID, you know, but, you know, just really thoughtfulness. I mean, thoughtful. My first webinar actually was about architecture and design in the hotels and what they're doing differently. So you can, as you know, the lobbies are like minimal. Remember like when Delano opened it and how everybody would just love that lobby because it was so minimal. And I think that that's that was very exciting as well. I think also, you know, you know, with the employees wearing a mask, they smile with their eyes, you know, and they really look great, you know, and the masks are creative. I mean, you have to listen, everybody was nervous when we reopened. The guests were nervous, the staff was nervous. But when you get through that, it's very thoughtful, I think, very, very thoughtful and considerate.
Yeah.
Keith, if I could jump in, because what Wendy is saying is so important in regards to what our hotels and our partners are doing. Our hotels are being extremely innovative. They have to be, right? And so they're really leading the charge. And so one approach that we're taking at the CVB is really leading with that message of traveling responsibly and spotlighting those hotels and those visitors that are doing it right. So actually, if you go to our website, gmcvb.com, and click on travel responsibly, you'll see a library full of visitors from New York, Chicago, Puerto Rico, everywhere. We're putting a camera in front of their face, unscripted, complete testimonial, and they're speaking straight to the camera and sharing why they came to Miami, number one, and number two, how they're working with the hotel partner and how they're doing it right, traveling safely. So we feel this is a way to encourage folks that if they are going to make the journey to Miami, to be safe and to do it right.
Yeah, and if I can just piggyback on that as well, here at Expedia, we've built out a really cool backend for the partners to update these health and hygiene measures, right? Because what we find oftentimes is that they're doing all this great work to get us through this recovery, to serve customers in ways that we haven't before, right? But oftentimes we're finding out that they're taking all these measures and it's not being reflected to our customers globally, right? So we made it easy. With a few clicks, they're able to update what they're doing, whether it's face shields, whether it's sanitizers, whatever it is, as far as health and hygiene, they're able to update it so our guests around the world are able to tap into that.
And then Keith, you know, just to round it out, because everyone sounds like they're doing fantastic things. It's actually funny you mentioned that, Wendy. We have a program that's coming out kind of in conjunction with the restaurants opening up again, but it's available to hotels as well. Where we paired with the City of Miami and Florida International University to basically put together a safety course and best practices. And the idea behind that is we're handing out stickers. So if you see this at a hotel or a restaurant, you know that they took the time to learn best practices, both on the county level and the city level specifically. So it provides that sense of confidence, because if consumers have that confidence, I think they'll come back quicker to that end.
Yeah, I'm on a Miami recovery group call every Friday. Christina told us about it Friday. It's a great program. By the way, Keith, I know you all will share with me. We have to wish Rocco Angelo a happy birthday today, 89 years old. So happy birthday, Rocco. I know he's probably watching.
Happy birthday, Rocco. He's the best. So Andrew, Expedia, great partners of mine in our hotels, great partners of everybody. You guys really are a platform that powers all our hotels, a lot of our travel. And if you think about having 20 million tourists a year that come into our cities, it's a lot of people. Are you guys, you know, like, what trends do you see coming in the future? You know, people are asking, you know, are bookings stronger? Are they getting stronger every day? What's the trend of our city and our bookings here?
Yeah, no, great question, Keith. And there's so many predictions and trends being put out there, from traditional media to social media, studies, articles, etc. It is dizzying, to say the least. First, let me just start by saying, you know, travel is a resilient industry, and we emphatically believe that it will return to normal levels. I think a few of us have mentioned that being optimistic about the future and the brand resilience, right? it will simply take time. So let's take a look at some of the fundamentals, right? We know travelers have and will continue to have clear expectations for health and hygiene policies and measures. We just spoke about that, right? Travelers are expecting flexibility with their reservation. That's a huge thing as well. The airlines are doing it. We're calling an action to it to be flexible to what the customer is looking for, right? So in case they decide to modify or cancel their trip, they have that option. Travelers are also cautious about their personal finances, and so they're looking for value. They're looking for a deal, right? According to a recent study from BDRC, far more travelers intend to book a hotel this year through an online travel agent like Expedia in search of value and access to the best rooms. There's a steady increase in domestic travel. The booking window is beginning to spread out a little bit. That is while most bookings are still happening closer to the arrival date, we are seeing more bookings coming further out. Since the pandemic, we have seen a huge increase in the share of bookings coming from mobile devices. Our overall purchases are steadily increasing while our cancellations remain stable. In fact, for Miami, we're actually seeing a steady decline in cancellations. We also continue to see really encouraging room night trends from our recovery program that I alluded to earlier. What's even more important is that we have enhanced our tools and products to better equip our partners as well as our teams to use these trends to take action. So at the end of the day, we can provide a safe, flexible, and value-packed travel experience for our customers. And while we set out to accomplish all of this, I think everybody on this call would agree it is super critical for us to maintain that excitement and that delight that our customers look forward to from the dreaming stage of their trip all the way through the remembering stage of the travel consumer journey. Safety is important, but we also don't want to lose focus of delighting the customer.
I think you're spot on. And I think that's what all our goal is. Wendy, on your end, and Jennifer, because you guys are really, passionate about the city and you guys are every day talking and working through this. What do you guys see?
Well, in terms of the future of travel in Miami, I feel, if COVID has done anything for travel, it has increased the desire for travel. It has become almost like the forbidden fruit, right? People have been for months just waiting to go. They need to go somewhere. They want to go somewhere, anywhere almost. It's almost this level of desperation when you speak to people. So I think that, once this thing is over, I think we need to get ready because it's going to be just really, it's going to be an incredible market for travel. And so, we're ready. We are putting the programs together. We're ready to welcome those visitors. As Wendy mentioned, we come out of these crises much quicker than other destinations because we are resilient, because of where we're located, our geography and all of that. So I feel like Miami is really poised, especially with some of the leadership that we have been, the hotel community engaging in. I think we're really poised to do well and to compete for that customer.
Kevin, anything to add for that? Since you're also in the same field.
Wendy, would you like to go first since we're close to you? And I'll follow up afterwards. I think you muted yourself though, Wendy. Wendy, I think you're on mute.
My God, how many webinars I've been on? I think collaborations are going to be really interesting. Because we've been kind of like seeing so much tough times for all businesses. I'm so excited about the things that we're going to do just with events. Even we're talking now about doing an event, part live, virtual and video, on the rooftops of our hotels, like starting at Sugar. And then going over to the Four Seasons, and then you've got SLS. Are you going to have a rooftop for us, Keith, at Nativo?
So at Nativo, we're going to have not a rooftop, but it'll feel just as good. We're going to have on the 10th floor, the whole level will be about 70,000 square feet of amenities. So we're going to have for you a beautiful pool in the west, which will have a great cabanas and a setup. We're going to have an inside area that's going to have co-work space, restaurants, a little speakeasy bar at nighttime. But we are going to have a beautiful sunset terrace that'll be facing west. That'll be the most favorite place if you're in downtown or Miami to have a drink and to eat. And it's actually curated by LDV Hospitality, who are one of the best in the industry. They have Scarpetta, they have Dolce de Gale. They're in New York City. So we're going to have amazing F&B and amazing spaces for us all to enjoy, for sure.
Count us in for an event. I also see a great opportunity to really work with the students, you know, whether it's hospitality or another industry, to work with them in the high school level, which we do, but really sharing with them different opportunities too that they can pursue in hospitality. I'm excited about the future. I think I think that we're in the best place in the whole wide world.
Love it, Wendy. So Keith, to answer your question, I think everyone so far in the panel has kind of hit on the short term, what that's going to look like. I'm looking longer term, and I think it ties back to the overall growth of specifically downtown Miami, but Miami and the greater Miami area in general. You know, the more things we put out there in terms of arts and culture, right? So you look at, we have Frost and Perez that have happened within the past decade. You tack that on to AAA, which is where all the musical events happen, along with where the Miami Heat play. Adrian Arts Center, which opened in 2006. You look at our green space. We have over 148 parks in the city of Miami alone, and that's just the city of Miami. We have 2 parks that are roughly 25 acres. One is Bayfront Park, the other one is Maurice Ferré Park. And if you take that as a size in relation to, for example, Millennium Park in Chicago, we have 2 of them, and they're on the water. So those can only get better. We have the Underline, which I mentioned previously. We have a park called Biscayne Green that we're trying to push through and make it a reality. We had an event in 2017 that was a temporary pop-up green space, and over 20,000 people attended, both visitors and domestic. The Underdeck, which is a 33-acre park, which will be underneath the I-395 Signature Bridge, which is kind of like our Brooklyn Bridge or our Golden Gate Bridge. That's supposed to be completed in 2024. So the list goes on and on and on. And I mention these things because it kind of goes back to that mentality of we live where you vacation, that kind of phrase. And I think that matters because people, not all the time, but people when they vacation, they like to visit family and friends. So the more people that are here, especially in the downtown area, the more we're going to see that happen. And even if they don't know anyone here specifically, just the stature of Miami as it rises, people are going to want to be curious as to kind of figure out what Miami is about. So that's kind of the long-term play to that question.
Kevin, I think you're absolutely right. And it is an exciting city. Like I said before, I was downtown today and seeing the parks and the greenery and the construction with the new bridge being moved. I mean, you know, really, really exciting. And the truth, I feel like a lot of New Yorkers may move down here as well. So I think for them, they're going to feel like it's like a tropical Manhattan for them. Are you guys getting a lot of calls from New Yorkers, and you guys have the same feeling that people are starting to migrate more to live here rather than just vacation here?
Absolutely. So you're seeing a couple things. You're seeing individuals and you're seeing companies, and it's a flight for 2 reasons. One is a capital flight. You look at California and you look at New Jersey, they have 2 wealth tax laws on the books. The one in California is absolutely bonkers to me. It's 0.4% wealth tax, and even if you move from California, it still hits you for the next 10 years. Crazy, right? So wow. We're seeing a lot of that. Same thing in New Jersey. There's a wealth tax law on the books that might pass. Then you look at the SALT laws, which happened in 2017, limited deductions. That's kind of the tri-state area. We have 0% income tax. We have a very low corporate tax, one of the lowest in the country is at 4.458%. We have a low sales tax relative to other major cities like San Francisco and New York and Chicago. I mean, any way you look at it, you're going to save money. So that's one side of it. The other side of it's the quality of life, as you hit on. As our city becomes better, it emulates and takes the good parts of the other cities that we like. So looking at mass transportation, if you're from New York City, there's only a handful of cities that you can go to and still get that feel of saying, hey, I don't have to drive everywhere. I myself live in Brickell, and I basically touch my car just to visit my parents down south. That's it. I take mass transportation, walk or bike everywhere else I go, including to work. And you're seeing an increase in that. People like to live close to live and vacation close to where their family members either live or work. That's going to increase, downtown Miami has density that ranges anywhere from 60 to 80 stories. You can't top another submarket like that. It's just not possible. From a business perspective too, those savings are exhibited. And from a talent perspective, if you're a tech company or you're a finance company, those tend to be very highly educated people. And so what's great about that is it helps us retain local talent, but also attracts talent. And they want to have bars and restaurants and hotels and green space and arts and culture and all those things around them. And the only way that's going to happen is if they go to one of these handful of cities, and Miami's quickly surpassing some and really up there in that upper echelon, especially from a quality of life and cost perspective.
Jennifer, did you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I do, because, as Keith was speaking, I was really thinking, at the heart of, what we're seeing in downtown Miami is investment in our infrastructure. And that was happening for a while before COVID, obviously. So, Kevin walked us through some examples, but another one is the port. We have seen private investment from the cruises into creating these beautiful, innovative, world-class terminals now, really cementing our position as cruise capital of the world. And then there's the Miami Beach Convention Center, which just 5 years ago looked very, very different, and is now really a game changer for us on the meetings and conventions business. So I think the message is, investment in infrastructure. That investment that's happened pre-COVID will pay post-COVID. It will pay off post-COVID as we come out of this.
And Jennifer, I think you actually are spot on. The port and the cruise industry is such a driver for us, and it's really become kind of like the heart of that area where you see these beautiful ships go out. They take 5,000 passengers, 3,000 passengers. People enjoy them and have fun. I personally love cruising. I actually was lucky enough to do a cruise about 8 months ago, and it was just so much fun. It's a great time to enjoy family and friends. And Andrew, I'm sure that you guys do very, very well in that industry. And people rely on Expedia for all trips, from hotels to tourism to cars. So, you guys think that people are going to start coming to Miami soon, and they're going to just kind of be careful and enjoy our climate more? Or what trends do you guys see when normality gets a little bit better?
I think exactly as you said. I think that there's going to be even a lot more family travel coming, because we do have the beautiful beaches and the outdoor space and great climate, really predominantly all year long. I mean, even now people are outside, or early evening, and I think that, and also that's when you said safe, it really kind of it gives a whole different demographics too of different visitors for us, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of the changes that we're seeing happening, in the industry, hotels, some of the innovations that are happening through technology and new cleanliness procedures, I think that is here to stay. I think that even once we have, a vaccine in the picture, I mean, obviously consumer confidence will come back when all of that's in line. But I do think these are kind of like the new bar has been set, and I think that's here to stay.
I think you're right, Jennifer. And even when we're designing on a TiVo building now, we're lucky enough where we haven't broken ground yet, but we're very, very close to it. And we're actually rethinking the way people are going to live in our building. We have office space we're going to work, and people who are going to enjoy, like Wendy throws some great events on our terrace. So I think you're spot on. I think people now are just going to think about this new 2.0 way of life, travel, and working. And I think it's actually going to be a good, safe environment for everybody. Andrew, what do you think about the industry as far as picking up more South Florida travel? Are you hearing more and seeing more about the trends opening up and that kind of way of life?
Yeah, and I alluded to the point on domestic earlier. We have been seeing a great deal of pickup for domestic, and it varies from market to market and submarket to submarket, right? But we are seeing the general trend being domestic. There are green shoots in terms of international business that we are seeing, and the booking that points to the trends that we're seeing with the booking window being spread out a little bit more. Typically, the way we see it right now, it's between 1 to 6 days in advance of booking. That's where the lion's share of the bookings are. But we're starting to see bookings coming in 30, 60 days out, which is really encouraging, right? Because a huge portion of business that we drive with, like the airlines, for example, packages, etc., we bring through for the long term, right? That booking window is usually about 30 to 60 days out. And that allows our hotel partners to build a nice base and yield up as we get closer.
And also, Keith, when international travel opens up again, that's going to be really terrific for us.
I believe so. Andrew, when do you think that starts happening? Have you had some indication on when you think international travels will come back, or what's your feeling that? Because you really are the expert, and Expedia is the #1 platform there is. So we're all looking to you for answers.
Yeah, no, and it's a great question. We don't have all the answers, but what we can say is that we are beginning to see green shoots of that happening. That's going to be heavily contingent on government restrictions, things that are a little bit beyond our control. As soon as those restrictions loosen up, and we can have some kind of positive notes in the media, so to speak, it's just a matter of time before folks start to travel. We mentioned it earlier as well. There's this huge pent-up demand just waiting to come. And Miami, we spoke about the brand. It's not just any place in the world. It's Miami. It's the place people want to go to, right? And I think folks, from time to time, they as much as is being pushed out in the media, that's what folks remember. As soon as something else, there's another topic of discussion, folks will soon forget about the negative components to it and begin to travel again. So we remain optimistic that things will pick up.
Jennifer, Kevin, do you guys have any insight on that for our watchers today?
Yeah, well, Andrew mentioned something about government restrictions, and clearly we have all been living under more restrictions than ever because COVID is a drastic thing, and so of course it required a drastic response. And so I don't think ever in my recollection have I ever witnessed the shutting down of our hotels, the shutting down of our restaurant industry, which, by the way, today's a special day because our restaurants are back online today, 50% occupancy within the restaurant. So it's an important day. We're getting that industry back online. But I think that if there is any bright line in all of this is that there are more, we've always been in conversations with our government entities in terms of tourism. And at the CVB, we like to say tourism is everybody's business because, we know it's an economic driver for this community. And whether you're a teacher or a firefighter, doesn't matter what your employment is, tourism is your business. And we're seeing and living that right now as we're at the bottom, of this, in terms of our performance. So I think that if there's any bright line here is that we're speaking closer than ever with our community, with our government partners, and we're living and seeing the results or the effects of what this pandemic can do and how the industry can be affected, and then therefore our residents in our community.
Yeah, and to build off Jennifer's point, I very much echo that sentiment. I mean, the fact that we're speaking to our restaurants daily, just asking them what they need, if there's anything we can do. I think the silver lining in all of this is that everyone, so governments across all levels, federal, state, county, local, hospitals, insurance companies, restaurants, hotels, theme parks, cruise lines, you name it. Everyone is dealing with this for the first time. And what it enables us to do is not only to communicate better, but knock on wood, like if something ever happens like this ever again in our lifetime, even if it's just a microcosm of what this is today, we're all going to be better prepared for it and know how to handle it in a better situation. So I definitely echo everyone's sentiments. I think we're bouncing back. You're getting the positivity rates declining across the board. We hit a rough spot in the summer and we're coming out of it. And just on a personal note, I'm scheduled to get married in February, so I really hope everything turns out okay. But no, it's a really, really exciting time to be involved. Just trying to help people on a daily basis is very gratifying, because I think, especially in this situation, everyone needs some sort of help, whether it be financial, moral, emotional. So really everyone connecting and working to a common goal is something that is not seen often today, and it's really refreshing.
Kevin, I want to say great luck at your wedding. If you need
Yeah.
some venues, Menon Hospitality has some beautiful rooftops and hotels. But on a good note, I think you'll have a great time at your wedding. And whether it's big or small, it'll be phenomenal. I think we should take a few questions as our questions are popping up from our audience today, and then we'll have some final comments. We have some questions. Actually, a lot of people are asking, are groups starting to book events now? And are people starting to kind of, book their travel events and corporate events? What are you guys seeing on those fronts?
So what's happening right now is, when it first started, all the summer stuff like June, July business pushed back to August, September, right? And then as it continued to increase COVID, then the late summer pushed back to the fall. And then the fall pushed back to early next year. So I think that a lot of the business we had on the books, I know from just, talking to our hotels, I'm sure Jennifer and everybody will agree, a lot's shifted to 2021. But as Andrew was saying about, what's happening for the fall, there are some meetings, there are some events and meetings holding dates in the fall. So it's just it's a little bit of a ripple effect, but it's like everything, we're getting a good feeling because, and you know why? The positivity rate is in a good place. The counts are down. Miami's behaving right now. Miami is doing a good job behaving with this virus and being very careful and making sure everybody wearing masks. We can't let that down. We have to make sure with all these openings, because the restaurants are opening today, indoor. Next week, hopefully meetings, banquets, all the indoor event facilities will be opening at a certain occupancy. We've got to be really responsible and careful so that the counts don't go up again.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on Wendy's comments, and thanks for running through that as well. For us, the way we look at it as well is that there's no silver bullet, right? And the idea and the message to our partners is that let's look at the things that we have control of, right? And we have this brilliant technology that we've launched. So we have this amazing platform connecting supply with demand. And in between that, the ask of partners is just to make sure you're ready for that rebound. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be an on-off switch, right? Every single day is going to be one of incrementality. So as we approach the day and the weeks after that are coming up, are you prepared to grab your fair share of that business, right? So if we look at our company from a global scale, we're driving all this demand to our sites to connect that supply. Is the business coming there? Is Miami positioned to grab that share of business that's coming to the site? And then if we drill it down a little bit more, is downtown prepared to grab the share of business coming in from Miami? And we drill it down even further. Is your hotel prepared to grab the business that's coming to downtown so you can capture your fair share?
I think that's great. So guys, as this discussion is coming to an end, although I've loved it, but we all have limited time here today and a lot of work to do to get our city back and get ready for opening. Can each of you share a little bit what you think lies ahead for the future of Miami's hospitality and lodging industry? People want to know what you guys think the future is going to be. So if you can give a little bit of an insight, that'd be great closure for all of us.
I think there's going to be a lot more of kind of relaxation, wellness. I think the spa industry is going to continue to evolve. Healthy eating, mixology classes will continue though, I think that's important. I think health and wellness is going to be really, and sustainability is going to be really important.
Yeah, I agree with Wendy. I also think that nature and the outdoors are going to be more important than ever. We already kind of saw movement before COVID. People were looking to explore the outdoors, but I think more so now after COVID, I think there's research that even backs it up, that being in the outdoors is better for your health and prevents certain things. So I think that we are well positioned as a destination to really do well in that market. You know, I think when people think Miami, they definitely think art and culture. They think, you know, beautiful hotels. They think amazing nightlife. But I think there's an incredible opportunity to really cement the idea of our natural resources. And we have beautiful natural resources here where people can enjoy. Like, did you know you can mountain bike in Miami? I mean, this is a thing, you can do that. So these are the sort of things that at the CVB, we're gonna be busy promoting and making sure that people are aware that there's another side to Miami, and really using that Miami Land, which is our campaign, that Miami Land positioning.
I think that's great. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
Sure. So basically, summary, Miami today, Miami forever. I think we're going to have an increase in technology and finance business clusters, which in turn leads to better talent, which in turn leads to a better population and a higher population. And those needs have to be fulfilled with arts and culture, parks, mass transportation, and all of that ties to tourism. For, as we mentioned, live, work, play, people want to visit family and friends. If you have a city that's on the rise, people are going to want to visit it. They're just curious. So, you know, obviously we're not in a great time right now, but we're coming out of it. And I think once it ends, Miami's really in a great position to take off.
I think you're right. Andrew, anything to add to that? Maybe give us a nice Expedia closure?
Sure. Well, for us, downtown Miami and Miami as a whole is an amazing destination with so many diverse things to offer for locals and visitors alike. Miami is a sexy brand. It's a powerful brand. It's a resilient brand. We at Expedia Group believe that where there is life, there is travel, and we'll be right here with you to bring travel back to Miami. It will not happen overnight, as we've said countless times. It'll be a journey, and we're committed to taking every step of that journey with you. So thanks for giving us the opportunity to speak today.
That's great. Well, Andrew, I want to thank you and Expedia personally for being great partners of mine for over 15 years. When I launched my first hotel called The Sanctuary, and I only had 30 rooms to fill, I relied on you guys tremendously to today, and we have more rooms and are giving you guys more rooms. So thank you for helping us today and giving us some insight. Jennifer, Wendy, and Kevin, you guys do amazing work. So I hope that all our followers, listeners today enjoyed this. I think you guys are onto it. I think the city's gonna come back great. You know, I've been in the cities I was born. I'm the 4th generation of Miami Beach, and it's the prettiest, most fun place. And I think that, to Kevin's point, New Yorkers, people around the world are now gonna realize you can also live here. There's many, many economic benefits. There's many lifestyle benefits and a lot of good relations to be made. And I think that Jennifer was spot on. Even though I've been here my whole life, during COVID, there were times that I would go for a bike ride, which I normally wouldn't do, just to get fresh air and to see what's around. And our beaches are incredible to walk on, to bike on, the boardwalk. You can now go from South Point all the way up to almost North Beach. I mean, truly incredible. So hopefully our listeners today learned a lot about Miami and Miami Beach. I think Kevin taught us all about downtown, what's going on, and more emerging. And I believe you guys all have great web pages and great organizations to find out more information. So I personally want to thank you guys for today, and I enjoyed this very, very much.
Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining.